New York remains the U.S. epicenter of the monkeypox outbreak. Mayor Adams has declared a state of emergency in the city, and the governor has issued a disaster emergency as cases rise. Demand for vaccines now outpacing supply, with appointments filling up as quickly as slots become available. Right now, the risk of contracting monkeypox appears to be greatest for men who have sex with other men. Joining us now, David Kilmnick, the president and CEO of the New York LGBT network. He's carefully tracking the outbreak and the government's response. David, good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having us here.
Earlier, the mayor was asked whether or not the city has sort of dropped the ball when it came to try to get ahead of monkeypox. He said absolutely not. What do you think?
You know, I think that we had a late response to this, considering what we learned from COVID. And I don't think it was the city's fault. And you know, there's a stockpile of vaccines sitting in Denmark. And so, you know, when the first case of monkeypox was found, we should have declared an emergency then and gotten ahead of it and gotten the necessary vaccines here, the necessary testing for folks, and to get the education and awareness out to our communities, which is still lacking in a great amount.
Are we finding the right distribution sites, testing sites? Is the state doing that adequately?
I don't think so. You know, they're scrambling right now, just like everyone else. But, you know, we serve both Queens and Long Island. And we know on Long Island that some of the sites that are being picked to administer this vaccine, you know, to reach gay and bisexual men in particular, are shopping malls. And shopping malls are not the safest places when we're talking about stigma against the LGBT community and one that goes along with this disease. So we've heard from hundreds of community members that said, why don't you have the vaccine at your community center, at the LGBT Network Center? You know, and the answer, quite frankly, is that we found out that Albany is dictating where Suffolk County needs to administer this vaccine. We need to listen to our local communities, whether it's on Long Island, whether it's in Queens or in the other boroughs, or whether it's in Westchester. We need to listen to our local communities where they go, where it's safe, and where they're not going to be judged, shamed, or stigmatized.
You know, it's so different from COVID and the vaccine, where authorities were trying to get the word out, you need to be vaccinated. It's so opposite in this case, in that there's no trying to have to wrangle people into getting the vaccine. They're just simply not there, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a scarcity. I mean, it's almost like trying to score a hot ticket to a concert that sells out in one minute. I mean, that's what these vaccines are like. You know, we don't have enough. You know, and when we hear that, you know, New York is getting another 1,000 vaccines, that's going to go throughout the whole state, right? But that you know, when we talk about the 1,000 vaccines, we need 2,000 if it's going to serve 1,000 people. This is a 2-dose vaccine. So there aren't enough vaccines. It's so hard for people to access it. Not everyone has a computer, too, and you have to get this on a computer. You have to be able to log in and be lucky enough to score one of these appointments. So we need to do a lot more. And, you know, I think one of the things that we really need to focus in on is working with our community and community organizations who have the boots on the ground and working with the community. And we're not doing enough of that in New York.
What's your biggest concern, David? Because I know with monkeypox, we talk about the painful lesions, we talk about the blisters, but there's been a report now of a fatality for someone passing away from monkeypox.
Yeah, you know, I think my biggest concern is that there's a lack of awareness and education about what monkeypox is, how it gets spread, you know, and that people are getting their information from social media, you know, and all these conspiracies and all these theoretical situations. You know, we need to really be able to talk to our community about what monkeypox is, how it spreads, and how we can stop the spread. You know, no shame, no stigma. This is the real deal. This is how it happens, and we need to stop it.
All right. Dr. David Kilmnick joining us tonight. Good to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.